It's in here. The body finds its own point of resolution. We've got to learn how to talk to it. And we're not trying to manipulate it. We're not trying to get it into a good place. We're trying to see if we can make some space for it to find its own way. And a 6-year-old body knows how to do that, essentially, if it's given the right conditions. It's a highly sophisticated system. So it's worth letting that quote really resonate as a truth. And the more that you do this work, the more that you just see it's true. This time it was just right. And the just right isn't that I got it right. The just right is the family are in a different position. Things are different at school. He's older. He's got more desire for things to be different. I knew that I don't push and I don't care what happens, but I care that he's safe. And all of this sort of stuff that we've set up well. I've got a good rapport with the mum, so she's in charge because it's on Zoom, but I'm in charge as well. And everything was just right. So that he chose to, on that last day, do the ball lying down, which is significantly different and more to doing it sitting up. And then he went into a very deep, quiet space, which his mum understands well enough, just wrapped him in a blanket. And he just stayed there in a little cocoon for quite a while, And I'd gone off screen. I could see, but I'd muted and I'd turned my thing off. So they had privacy, and it wasn't about me, and it wasn't about me overlording it. And they just stayed like that until he was ready. And then he went, "Oh, I think I'm ready to see Holly again now." Now, he wasn't doing any thinking. He'd taken himself down into a space that he understood well enough at a range of levels. And then he could hold it. And his mum found it very profound because she says, "I know him really well, but I've never experienced this with him before." There was this really quiet space where his body was emanating something new, translating something new, finding its own little space, really quite sweetly wrapped up in a little rug. And then when he was ready, he popped out the other side. And then when he was ready, what he wanted to do was do the ball a couple more times. And so he did. He did it once quite a lot. And for me, what it is coming down into a dorsal state that's safe. So it's shifting from a dorsal state that's immobilized fear to a safe place, which is a big jump for the body. And then, if you want to use, as we do polyvagal language, ventral, popped up a ventral one, because he just popped up the other side. And then he was fantastic and doing karate chop movements all around the room going, "Oh my God, I feel like I've got a new body. I've got new skin. I'm a new body and new skin." And he just went, he was so excited because he said, "My body feels better. I can move. I can do all this stuff." So there was this real shift for him. But it proceeded with this very profound, quiet space. And then what I think is happening at a physiological level, although it's not very scientific, is his body's working out he can tiptoe away from the lion. The ball, literally at a movement perspective, is moving. You're mobilizing your legs. And so where the people, so many people I work with, they're very stuck in this immobilized place. But at a certain point, when you get him into that empty zone, neutral, which is a very delicate place that you can't push people into, it comes when it comes. You then, and he wanted to, the mobilizing with the ball pushing allows the body to learn something new. It's sort of gone into this neutral zone, and then the pushing and the movement allows it to tiptoe away from the lion, which it's a huge shift in perspective. And he felt totally different. He had a totally different experience of himself. If we just stayed in this quiet thing, it wouldn't have been allowed quite as much, although he may just have popped up anyway, but he actually needed to. He wanted to push, and then he stopped, and then he wanted to do it again, and then he realized it was enough. So most of that process, I didn't have really anything to do with it. I just oversaw it enough. His body knew what he was doing. he'd had enough experience of what this work was to understand enough the body's cleverer than what the brain's thinking. His brain couldn't have thought all of this if he'd tried. If we'd gone and looked at his emotions and how things were going at school and at home, we wouldn't have got there. Even with somatic work of thinking and feeling, we wouldn't have got there. What we did was we made a space, and his body at a very, very deep level went tinker, 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 and found its own point of resolution and then popped up the other side. So I'm just sort of laboring that point quite a lot because it's so profound what we're actually asking of people.